And if you've been following me, you know that I was hacked. I had some nefarious individuals decide they were going to impersonate me, and they posted some things that just were not accurate. And they weren't true. Um, they were very disgusting in nature, both on just it had a bunch of, um, Muslims killing somebody with pictures. And then there were some other things that said that I was exploiting uh, children using pictures from the ministry. All false, all crazy. So they shut the page down, which I asked Facebook to remove all that stuff. But in return, they decided to shut my page down and my Facebook. So this is my third Facebook because this happened before. And I guess if you are proclaiming the truth and you're proclaiming, um, you know, the gospel and telling people about Jesus, I think that you have a lot of enemies out there, which is okay because what do we have to do? The Bible tells us to count the cost. And I've counted the cost. And my cost is I am compelled to tell people about Jesus. It's been a little bit, or as some would say, it's been a minute since I've been on. Took a couple weeks, just kind of pull back a little bit. A lot of little things going on. I'll have a lot of time here, hopefully, over the next probably 5 weeks or so, off and on. Um, so I'm hoping to do some more videos. But I thought I'd jump on real quick, just do something that typically we all deal with, and we all have our challenges with um, different things in life. And I think of um, let's see if I can get this going. All right. So I want you to think about something. I want you to think about you get busy, right? You get emails, you get all this stuff coming flying at you. You got what deadlines, budgets, all kinds of threats, pressure, boss pressure. We would call them maybe a fake lion, if you will, in suits that strut around and talk about these timelines, and they put a lot of work, a lot of pressure on people sometimes. So um, I would say, who's holding the cage door? Who's holding this door? This story is going to mimic and talk about Daniel and the lion's den. Something really simple, but it's profound. It's profound in its precept to help us. How do I use what is said in Scripture for me to look at as something to use to be able to say, uh, I can look at it from this viewpoint and it applies here. It wasn't written to me, but it has applications to me. So when you're overloaded in those emails and they start hitting your inbox, and the phone call, people coming in, all the things you're dealing with, um, and it's in your, where do you reach for a prayer? Do you keep scrolling and just ignore them, or not look at people and just say, okay, I'm not really going to look at them, I'll pretend it's going away? How do you handle that pressure? Sometimes a simple prayer will help. But I think of Daniel 6:22, and it says it this way: my God hath sent his angel and hath shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him innocent, or basically the innocency was found in me. So let's walk through this story a little bit and let's just see um, what is the deal here. So uh, point one, my first point would be the trap. I call it the trap, and that is where they didn't ban everything, but they made prayer to anybody but the king illegal. So they put this law out there, this edict, this letter from the king that said, you can't pray, you can't do any of this. And that law was perfectly aimed, especially at Daniel, because we know, as we read in 6:7, whosoever shall take a or shall ask a petition of God or any man for 30 days, save o thee the king, O king, he shall cast into the den of the lions. So this is the edict that went out. So basically, whoever is um, not going through the king, not checking with the king for everything. You can't pray. He's putting all these things out here. So I think about what law that is written or unwritten that is currently making your prayer life inconvenient or even dangerous. We're living in a world today where it's dangerous to have a belief system in Christianity. I will say that as we and there's different ways I can I come from I'm coming you from you from a theological standpoint. I mean, there's a worldview, theological. There's an intellect. There's certain ways I'm appealing to you. I'm appealing to you both from the intellect when I talk about the world and I talk about the theology of Daniel and what that looks like. So um, it's important to know that um, you have to take a stand. It's dangerous today to be able to stand out there. I see things all the time. I don't know if they're real. I don't know if they're true. I just see them. Where I saw recently a lady was in Britain, I believe, and she was basically going up to some folks that had a different religion. I think it was Islam, and she ended up getting arrested because she was telling them that Christ is the only way, which we would know that. Um, it really, I can't stress it enough for people to understand. Just be a free thinker. Just be a free thinker. Don't go with the herd, the medium of people. Make your own decisions on things. Read the Bible as it says. Discern it for yourself. Make that something where you're learning on your own and you're not being told um, certain things. The media, so much fake stuff out there, so much stuff. And you say, well, you look at the government, you look at all this. You can't help but look at the government from a theology or religious standpoint. Why do I say that? Well, we were founded on religion, okay? Freedom of religion, and that's important. Now, it's not to imply or force people into certain viewpoints and force them to do um, the belief systems of individuals or different types of uh, religions out there that are different from the way we would believe. Now, I'm just asking you to be a free thinker. I'm asking you to think for yourself. My mother used to say, if everybody jumped off the bridge, would you jump off with them? Um, I'm kind of that independent guy. I like to research it and try to understand it. And I certainly don't go with the flow. I kind of understand certain things. Now, in our world of political and governmenting and all this other stuff, there's so much of a divide and there's so much of a dichotomy in what's right and wrong. What happens is when you take a found, I mean, go to the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. What's on it? I bet you can't tell me. Well, it's a Leviticus Bible verse. This country was founded on the Bible. Okay, I didn't say religion, viewpoint. It wasn't Judea. Wasn't I'm not saying that. I'm saying the Bible. We all know what the Bible is, the authority. So this country was founded on that. It was founded with the Bible in mind. I mean, Abraham Lincoln had the Bible in his hand. He used it. Now, he might not have went to church every day, but he read the Bible and he used it to help him as a president to do what he was doing in the presidency. You know, we look at things today. People want to get on the whole cancel culture, the Black Lives Matters, the racism, and all that stuff. Folks, if we just stand back and look at history, and we ignore it a lot of times, but there's more African American people moving to the United States than there are people in the United States that are of African American leaving the United States. What does that mean? We're not racist. That's what it means. If all these folks are moving to the United States and it's diverse, I mean, you can't. I don't look at anybody's, um, race, color, or anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's what is the character of the individual. It shouldn't be. Um, I don't look at their sneakers and say, well, it should be black. And if he's got black shoes on or he's got brown shoes on, this is this. That is not how I look at things. And I know a lot of folks don't, but this country's not that racist. Are there examples? Yes. Am I saying there isn't to some degree, but people want to ride that. Morgan Freeman said, stop talking about it. Morgan Freeman, stop talking about it. If you just focus on that and you just think that you're being suppressed, then why are all these African American people from other countries coming to the United States if we're that racist? Come on, folks. So, what I'm saying is, you can't have a political system, a government system, a religion system. It kind of all works together. And I'm not here to tell you which ones you have to pick and choose and all that. That's not who I am. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm just saying we need to be founded on the Bible, founded on the scripture, just like this country, which is young, was founded on. People came here from Europe so they could worship whoever they wanted to worship. And the Jamestown, the Plymouth folks, they had the 1560, the 1599 Geneva Bible before the King James, and people used that when they, to educate. They taught from the Bible. They taught their kids from the Bible. There's so much richness there that that's how we were founded and we were built. So it's so important that we understand and not fall into these uh, pressures and societal and organizations that just want to be ugly and mean and don't want to look at things from other standpoints. And that's, I guess, that sometimes frustrates me when I see that. But so, number one, the trap. Stay out of it. Don't let them tell you can't talk to God or pray or anything like that, or you can't do things that support your belief system. Number two, the stand. Think of Daniel when what did he do? He didn't go riot. He didn't go steal. He didn't break anything, destroy anything when the king said you can't do that. Now, that was a king. And we don't have any kings today in the United States. People recently did a King's Mountain March. Now, I know I have friends that will see that a little bit different. Folks, you got to stop focusing on um, things and turning it into a hate situation. He's going to be out of the office in three years or so, or whatever. There's there things that some people like and some people don't like. Hey, you got the best of both worlds. It's been going on for years and centuries. I mean, um, so you got somebody's got to lead. Somebody's got to take us into other direction. Are we going to believe and um, agree with everything? No, it's okay to disagree. Agree to disagree. It's okay to say, you know what? I don't believe in that way or what you're thinking. And a lot of times people take what a feeling, like for instance, love or something like that is an action. Love is an action. It's not a feeling. And people want to make things a feeling, and they want to make that so much the premium for him that it just drives him nuts, goes crazy if people don't think like they think. He didn't go out and riot. He didn't post any manifesto. He didn't go out there. He just kept doing what? Praying, doing it 3 times a day. Windows open, knees down. He was praying. He gives us that example of you continue to serve, your God and the Almighty, and he didn't let any of that country or king or edict or law or all those things keep him from serving his God. So 6:10 says he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and he prayed and he gave thanks before his God as he did afore. So as he did before, he continued doing what he was doing. So I think about this: if you had 3 seconds before the next email notification hijacks your attention, what short, helpful prayer, or maybe could a whisper um, right now help you in feeling like you're opening a window towards I pick on Jerusalem, but towards God. And think about that. What could you do different if you only had 3 seconds? And what could you? And that next email comes in for you to do something, and that's next task, and it hijacks your attention. How can you stop, focus, and think what's really the big picture here? And maybe a prayer can help you each and every day. So number one, the trap. Number two, uh, the stand. Number three, the miracle. So God didn't remove the lions. Think about this. What do we know? We know that they brought him in front of the king. The king put him in the lion's den. Okay, so God didn't remove those lions. What did he do? He didn't kill the lion, right? He just what? Shut their mouths. That's all he did. And he turned the scariest room in Babylon into the safest testimony in town. So we look at Daniel 6:23, and no manner of hurt was found upon him because he believed what? His God. So his belief system saved him, and God protected him. And what was this guy doing? What was he so there? He prayed 3 times a day, and in earnest. It talks about in James, does the prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And if you start thinking about that, um, think about what Daniel did way back then. I mean, there's things that said that the very next day, the uh, the king went down there to see if he was there, and he survived. He did not have any issues or anything. So practical application. So tonight, before you close the laptop, your phone, maybe you pick one of those roaring issues that you're dealing with. Maybe a job threat. Maybe it's a tweet storm or an email that just got you going. Maybe you're in a family fight. Maybe you have something that you hold in your mind that's really eating at you, and slowly speak what Daniel 6:22 over it like a promise, not a wish. It's a promise. Then take the next step, and that is maybe send that email, call that person, forgive, apologize, whatever obedience looks like for you in your situation. And I want you to watch what God does. He muzzles while you move. He will muzzle and close those things in your life. I've seen it in my own life. I've had examples, and I've seen things just things I really can't explain sometimes. So when we think about if real lions couldn't touch Daniel because of heaven, had a better plan for him, why are you letting the digital lions devour your peace? So it's your turn. Open the window, kneel, speak, hit send, and pray. You pray and then hit send on the prayer. Uh, you've been scared to pray out loud. The angel already on the way who knows maybe the lions are out and about to go strangely quietly. But first, what's first? The roar. You're asking God to silence it tonight. And folks, it's just a quick little devotion here, just to cover what I think is important. Sometimes we get wrapped up, and there's so much digital stuff coming at us. There's so much garbage sometimes that comes out, so much fake stuff. We don't know what to believe half the time. I can tell you the best place is to ground yourself in scripture, ground yourself in prayer, and ground yourself in the truth. And I guarantee you, if you start doing that and praying those things, the world things are eating you up. God's going to close them shut, just like He did for Daniel. All right, Chaplain Dean Alley, I had a moment, hadn't been on a while. Just want to say hi, and you take care. God bless. I love you. Bye bye.